He is the WWE Champ and carries that title proudly. The pride of Ayr Scotland, a brave wrestler superstar with a brave heart. Drew McIntyre continues to prove why he is the champ, and at the horror show at Extreme Rules on Sunday, July 19 on WWE Network, he sets his sights on a former tag team partner, Dolph Ziggler. Thank you, champ. Tell us about this match against the very skilled Dolph Ziggler.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. That's a sweet introduction. I love the Braveheart part. I'm very excited about let me get this right, the horror show at Extreme Rules with Dolph. So Dolph is somebody I have a lot of history with. He brought me in to Raw, technically. We had a great alliance where perhaps the reason we won and he won all the titles was because of me. He remembers it a little differently. That's fine. Nonetheless, he brought me in. He showed up on Raw. He asked for a title shot. Since we had so much history together, I gave him the title shot. But I felt a little bad for Dolph because he hasn't exactly been on a winning streak as of late, and I've allowed him to pick the stipulation. That was me being a nice guy. I know he's a great superstar, one of the best in the ring. We'd have a fine little match, but I beat him in the end. I'd overcome the stipulation, prove why I'm champion. But then Dolph had to get personal. He had to bring Heath into the mix this week. He tried to play mind games with me. And now, instead of being a nice guy that gives out stipulations, I plan to hurt Dolph. I plan to break his arms and legs and make sure he's gone for WWE.
Yes, there you go. And we're going to get to some of that, a couple of things that you mentioned, which is really cool. But I want to get this part too, because you and Dolph were Raw Tag Team Champions a couple of years ago. You had a really good run. You were a really good team. I'm just wondering too, did you, if we could pull the curtain back a little, if it's okay, did you learn anything from Dolph?
Absolutely. Dolph is somebody that has stayed in the WWE system for a very long time, I think about 15 years. And he has done that because, he's learned this game. Like on the television where he's taking it to the next level mentally, he's a smart guy, he's always a thinking wrestler. That's his biggest skill. He can't match me size-wise, so how's he going to outthink me? But realistically, he is somebody that's figured out this game. It is more of a mental game than a physical game, and he very much taught me a lot about, how to navigate the waters of WWE, which is non-stop all the time.
And another essence of the mental game, and you brought it up just a minute ago we were talking, but what was it like working when Dolph ends up bringing Heath Slater on Raw on Monday on the USA Network? But what was it like being there with Heath and having Heath back in the fold, so to speak?
From a personal standpoint, it was awesome. It's kind of out there on the internet, like how it kind of came to be. But, we saw an opportunity to enhance the storyline with myself and Dolph regarding those mind games. But also, I saw an opportunity for Heath to show a more serious side. He's always been doing the comedy character, always doing the 3MB thing, among other comedy situations, and never really got to show what else he was capable of. Regarding myself, when I was released, I kind of went to Scotland to ICW, did my first serious promo, went viral in the underground. Everybody said, my goodness, look at Drew. He can do it all. He's going to do really well. And when I saw that opportunity that Heath could do the same thing, but on the biggest platform in the world on Raw, I knew it would set him up nicely going forward. Just had to twist his arm a little bit, because I understand. When you move on mentally and physically, you're ready for the next chapter. You're not sure if you're going backwards, but we got him in there. He's in a great place mentally. Obviously, looking at him, he's a great place physically. He got to show that other side of his personality, that serious side, which makes you a true top guy. He can do a little bit of everything. And I'm very, very happy for Heath, and excited to see where he goes from there. And having that little moment at the very end with him, I wish Jinder was there too, is some real closure from 3MB until Heath returns to finish the prophecy and winning the WWE title. Not for me, of course.
Of course. And that's really cool because you guys did even do the 3MB sign. Was that something organic, or did you sort of say, hey, maybe at the end we'll do that, or was that just something that happened?
No, that's just something that happened. We did that out there, and then the bow, you can probably hear me if you listen closely or see me talking to Heath, just saying, man, let's do the bow. This is a cool moment. And there's a few other things said there. There was just some personal things. It was really cool having that moment. That's why I was like, man, if Jinder was here, this would just have been perfect. The situation again, champion as his friend really sets him up nicely going forward.
It was really a good moment, and fans enjoyed it, and that's always obviously good to see. What was it like when you and Dolph got to work a really good program with Heath and Rhino?
You'd have to remind me of that one, unless I'm just not remembering something here.
Tag team match?
I believe we had a match. I don't remember having a program.
Well, not a program. Yes, you're right. Not a program, but you guys had a match. I don't know what then you remembered about working against their team or anything like that. And if you don't, that's okay.
Oh, yeah. We had a match. I remember the match on Raw. I was just trying to think, we had a program. No, we had a match on Raw. Yeah, I remember that. And it was cool to get in there. And I remember specifically talking to Heath because, if I'm not wrong, I want to say it was in Philadelphia, but it was definitely in a market where it was a more, knowledgeable audience who would remember 3MB. And I told him that let's get in there together. I guarantee they're going to react, and we'll just give it a second. And I remember that very clearly. I do remember it in there together. I do remember the 3MB chant. So that was a pretty cool moment. I remember from that match. The other thing I remember from that match is, obviously right now Heath's in phenomenal shape. He's at a different level mentally and physically. At the time, wasn't in the best shape. And I tried to do my reverse Alabama slam that I do, where I have the guy upside down my back, and I kind of rewind them and they take a face fall. I tried to do it with him over the top rope on the outside. So it was just all muscle. Like, there was no assistance, there was no squatting down to cheat a little bit. It was just all shoulders. I got him over, but I remember oh my goodness, when I was trying to pull him over to hit that move. He was a little bit heavy at the time. But yeah, it was cool getting in there with him at that time, but nothing cooler than this past week.
And that is cool. And thank you so much for remembering that too and all, because that's really cool. And that's why you're the champ. You remember it all. You remember everything.
That's right, yeah. I'm like an elephant.
You are like an elephant. So, hey, you got to beat Brock Lesnar for the title. Awesome. You beat Big Show, Seth Rollins, and then Bobby Lashley with Miami's own MVP. What was it like working with Lashley and MVP, and just how good is MVP on the microphone?
MVP is phenomenal on the microphone. And the pairing of Lashley and MVP is absolutely perfect. That's something that it's certainly been talked about, even between the three of us, as something, wow, how cool would this be to actually, in the past, to actually see it happen. It's really, really cool. I think Lashley's somebody, who should have for a long time been in the main event. Obviously, was part of that storyline. And I always say, WWE has a little bit of something for everybody. We're just a smorgasbord of different entertainment, and it's cool to have storylines like the one he was in. I don't even get into details about it. I don't think Bobby Lashley is somebody that should be in that. I think he should be somebody who is in the top contention for the top titles. And perhaps his speaking game, which I think is good. If that was the one thing holding him back, who's better than MVP? And he's not just a manager, he's not just a mouthpiece like a Leo Rush or whatever. He's somebody who's a tag success in the ring. He's still able to compete in the ring, which he is right now. There's more of a tag team. And him talking up Bobby Lashley is like, I don't know, like Don King Tyson, except Don King is actually a badass himself. But it's a lethal combination, and I think those two together are perfect.
That's a great analogy, too. That's so spot on. Now, I mentioned Lesnar, Lashley, you have Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, all done well in WWE and MMA. And I believe you've had a Colby Covington earlier calling you out. And then Conor McGregor says he's retired from UFC and interested in WWE. And then a very good female fighter, Paige Van Zant, is going to be a free agent with UFC. And she's had interest in WWE. As someone who's been through it all, Drew, what advice would you give those athletes?
I would advise, if you really want to do it, be prepared to give absolutely everything you've got. It isn't just a walk in the park, and that's what frustrates me a little bit. There's a few people that have, talked a good game and perhaps have gotten the opportunity and perhaps realized how difficult it is and got out. You have someone like Ronda who really gave it her all, really had a love for this industry and succeeded because of it. She's such a high-level athlete, but genuinely had a passion and a love for it. But I understand why, they get business. The WWE is such a huge global company. We're in 800 million homes. 180 countries, 20 different languages, over 1 billion with social media followers. They get, this is a platform maybe I can transition to. But you ain't just going to walk in, and especially not when I'm champion. That's why whenever I see somebody talking a big game like that, thinking they could just walk in WWE, I'm the first person to put my hand up. Until even McGregor this week. So like, all right, I know what you're up to, but listen, McGregor, you calm yourself down there, sunshine. You can't just go photoshopping my title on your shoulder and calling out Vince. I think you're just going to walk in the door. So I think the line at the end, going to dig at him was stick to whiskey McTapper. I said at the end because and also pointed out that he perhaps punched an older gentleman in the bar and the guy didn't flinch. And if he tries to punch Vince, I assure you Vince will drop him. So he's not just your average older gentleman. But nonetheless, he's a huge drawing card and he has a genuine passion for it. If he puts the work in, I'm all about anybody that can get more eyes on the product. Because if we get more eyes on the product from the outside because of the talent we bring in, it means they get to see a regular talent who are phenomenal. And if we get some new fans because of the outside talent, that's what I'm all about. It's just growing WWE, growing the brand.
And you are growing WWE. And a few more questions. We're wrapping this up. We're coming down to the end here. Hey, so you're living in Tampa. Drew, do you play much golf? And I'm going to get to why I'm asking you this, but do you play any golf?
I do not play any golf. I tried it when I was younger a few times. I tend to not stick to things I'm not good at. But my wife was literally talking about yesterday, hey Drew, you know what we need to do? We need to start playing some golf. It's funny you should say that she's really pushing it right now.
Well, here's why I'm bringing it up, because it was such a cool tweet. And you said, because we don't know what the stipulation's going to be for you. It's up to Dolph. What is the stipulation going to be for Extreme Rules, the Horror Show Extreme Rules? And one of the things you said was, hey, Dolph, how about the loser has to be the other's caddy for a year? And I thought, how nice of you to go to bring Dolph back to his caddy days and maybe get him in his caddy outfit and do that for him. Or maybe I'm thinking, this is me now, maybe you could have him be cheerleader for a day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could flip it and say maybe he could be 3MB or something. As well. I'm sure we go back and forth to each other and talk about our former characters who aren't exactly successful. But yeah, I'm interested by the stipulation. Like the character, like Dolph Ziggler is not a stupid person, obviously. He's not going to select, I hope, a weapons match of some kind, because realistically I am the weapon. You don't want to give me real weapons. Like, I think it's going to be real outside the box. And the idea is, that he's smart, comes up with a stipulation that's going to benefit him. And for myself, if I want to be the champion I claim I'm going to be and go down in history as one of the best, I got to overcome the biggest obstacles. And I get a feeling the stipulation is going to be one of the biggest obstacles I've ever faced in my career.
It'll be an outstanding challenge, an outstanding matchup, Extreme Rules. Wrapping this up, hey, how many times have you seen the movie Braveheart?
I've seen the movie Braveheart more times. In fact, I probably can't count to the number. I'm a pretty educated gentleman. I have my degree in criminology. I'm well-read, and I can't count as high as the number of times I've seen Braveheart.
And that leads us to the last question. And everybody, Extreme Rules, it's a horror show at Extreme Rules, WWE Network, Sunday, July 19th. WWE Champ Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler. What the stipulation Ziggler will choose, who knows? But we got to check it out and see. Okay, so on that Braveheart theme, who played the better Braveheart? John Morrison or Triple H?
You mean the John Morrison when he was facing off with me?
Yes, and Triple H doing his promo for WrestleMania gone past. The William Wallace.
I enjoyed the Triple H one with him and Flair. That was really entertaining. But I think I have to give it to Morrison. The reason being is when he did that one scene where he dressed up in the Braveheart outfit. He did the impression of me. He had a big laugh at my expense. And after that, I remember traveling through a couple of the towns, going to the gym, perhaps going to a restaurant, and there was at least 3 separate people, like after that promo, who said to me, hey Drew, why did they give you a Scottish character? The John Morrison does a better Scottish than you. Looked at him and I am from Scotland, how can he do a better Scottish than me? But I remember being really hurt that people thought John Morrison's Scottish impression was better than mine. I naturally Scottish. Whatever I sound like is Scottish because I am Scottish.
Thank you. I'm letting you go. Thank you, champ. That was the best. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited for the horror show at Extreme Rules. And if you're not excited, hey, like myself and Dolph Ziggler will be amazing. Check it out. That's enough reason to tune in. Bray and Braun and some kind of swamp cinematic match. That's a good reason to tune in. That man is going to get his eye pulled out of his head, apparently. So I need to push my own match. I should just be talking about that the whole time. Check out Horror Show Extreme Rules where a man loses an eye. Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio.
And that's horror and that's extreme. Thank you, champ.